What do you do when the version of the story you planned is no longer available? So that's the current situation that I'm in at the moment. A few weeks ago, I sent the script for Stolen Dreams Legacy, that's number 3, to the returning cast members who will all play a pivotal role to the continuation of the story. And a few days ago, I received an email from one of the actors saying that they will no longer be participating in the story and wishes us the best of luck and wants to go in a different direction with their creative path and career. All love, nothing but respect, but straight away my mind was on two things. Very thankful for their contribution to the story so far. And secondly, my mind went straight to what happens next. What do I do with the story now? For me, this was more than just losing an actor. It was losing a few things within the story. Character arc, the relationships that they've built within the story. And one of the key pivotal parts for me is the emotional weights that this particular character carries. What happens with all of that? From a rewriting perspective, you're now looking at key scenes and what to do with those key scenes, what to do with those relationships, what to do with that emotional weight in the story. So these are all things that I need to think about and I need to eventually solve. On one hand, it's exciting because you're now going back to redevelop a story, because that's what I do first and foremost as a storyteller. It's another problem that you have to face, that you have to overcome. And on the other hand, for us to get to this point, it's taken a lot to be able to develop the story to this point. But nevertheless, the show must go on. Sometimes as writers, you get attached to characters, you get attached to scenes, and it's important to stay detached from some of those things because it might not serve the story in the long run. If you're too emotionally invested, then you might be blinded by what could actually be beneficial for the story. So as I'm looking through some of my notes, I'm thinking about potential fixes. Sometimes I know some writers often build their stories around specific people, and without them, the story falls flat. This is a pivotal character, but at the same time, there's potential room for a workaround. I just haven't figured out what that is yet. Often when things change, the whole structure might feel unstable. And like I said, it's taken me a while to get to this point of being very happy with the story for me to now start sharing it. So one thing I don't want to do is to lose the spine and the structure of the story. So yeah, it's gonna take some time. So in terms of solutions, because this is what this is about, solutions driven, I've got 3 options. Option A, to recast this particular role. With this particular option, the pros are minimal rewrite. You get to keep the original version of the story. The cons are there'll be a noticeable shift in performance, even if you get a great actor. The chemistry may be different, which could be visible and can be felt on set with this particular type of story. So in conclusion, where do I stand with this particular option? I'm not in favor of this, if I'm honest with you. I'm ruling it out straight away. I'm honoring the actor who played such a specific and terrific role, and I wouldn't want to redo that by bringing somebody else in. So for me, this option doesn't sit right with me. I don't think it feels authentic. So yeah, that's a big no-no for me. Option B, rewrite around the absence of this particular character. Essentially what that means is you adjust the story to remove or replace the character's function from the original vision. Essentially this can potentially strengthen the focus of the story. It makes it more adaptable, but some of the cons are it requires deeper structural work, essentially. And I don't know how I feel about that. So it's an option, hasn't been ruled out yet, but it's definitely an option. It's better than option one, which is recasting. I'm not going down that way. Option C, rethink the direction of not the entire story, but the parts pertaining to this particular character. So this can change the dynamics and change the emphasis of the story pertaining this character. The opportunities or the cons here is that there's an opportunity to strengthen the narrative. Okay, sorry, something just came to me, of which I need to write this down before I forget. Strengthen the narrative. Strengthen the narrative. Okay, something interesting just came to me that I think could work. It's going to take some time to do the rewrites. I guess the cons around this particular one is that it could be time consuming, essentially. So, but with what just come to my mind right now, I think it's probably the best option. But I need some time to flesh it out. So this definitely strengthens the narrative without taking away from the excellent work that's already been done by the previous actor. Interesting. So 3 questions. What conflict are they adding to the story? What is their emotional anchor within the story? And what supporting role do they play in terms of pushing the story forward? So these are the 3 things that I need to answer when I'm doing this rewrite, especially with this options that I've laid out on the table in regards to what can serve the story better. Next week, I'm at the Lake District with the family. It'll be a great opportunity to get some solid writing done over there to finish this rewrite while I'm out there for that week. Obviously, it's family time, so I'm going to try my best to not encroach on family time. I'll wake up long before the family's awake and late at night once everyone's asleep. Mainly because, as you can already tell, it's like I often like being outside in nature, especially when I'm in the ideation and writing phase, because my ideas, I find a lot of my ideas when I'm out here. I can hear the children playing in the background. I can just feel a lot more life out here. Everybody's taking the time out of what life normally throws at them to just be in the open space. And so just being in this environment, hearing the birds, just the nature, it often helps me with my thinking. My thinking's a lot clearer. I often solve a lot of story problems here. So imagine now going to the Lake District where we have nature in abundance. So I'm going to make sure that I utilize that opportunity to solve this particular problem that didn't exist 2 weeks ago, but that's now here, and it's something that I need to deal with. And this is the nature of storytelling. This is the nature of filmmaking and screenwriting. and I'm always up for the challenge. And I think ultimately everything happens for a reason, and whatever I do, I think will eventually strengthen the story and add a new layer and a new narrative that boosts the meaning even more. And from the light bulb moment that came to me literally as I'm making this video, that I need to take time once the camera's off to really think about, and then next week tackle while I'm doing the writing. I'm really excited to the next phase. So stick around for next week. We're in the Lake District.